Hello, this is Sierra and welcome to another video. Today we're doing today we are reading a chapter 39 of Hermitcraft Mayhem. We are still in the midst of a very intense battle, but this is basically part of my Minecraft-inspired universe, where I put Minecraft YouTubers that I enjoy watching into a universe and see what happens. This focus is in Hermitcraft. Yeah. And let's get right into the video. There are captions available if you are interested to follow along that way, but it's not a requirement. Yeah. Buckle up and let's get ready to go. False was perched on top of the wall surrounding Hermit Fortress, looking out into the trees beyond. She had just ushered Pearl and Scar, who were carrying in an unconscious Caleb, shooing away a few straggling clones that were chasing them. False and Joe had even arrived half an hour ago. Had only arrived half an hour ago after hearing the distant sound of fireworks, and decided to pitch in and help. Joe was currently traveling to each hermit's base and calling for backup. False was not taking any chances after what Scar and Pearl had told her. There were at least 100 clones out there, trained assassins and soldiers who were not afraid to attack on sight. Her friends needed all the help they could get. False could hear the sounds of shouting and yelling in the distance, explosions from fireworks every so often, running feet, the snapping of twigs, yet still no sign of P-Dubs, Sam, and Julius. They couldn't be far, though. Scar had been confident of that. She glanced over her shoulder toward the base, which towered over the walls, but not quite the towers. It was quiet inside, which she supposed should be a good sign, but knowing how these men usually worked, from what Sam had taught her, she paid attention to the little details. Yeah, that sentence was weird. False turned her head at the sound of another twig snapping. This time, it was much closer. She squinted her eyes, resting her hands on the wall, ready to propel herself forward. Maybe. Would the clones try breaching the wall or find another nefarious way to get in? The elevator was still a risk, but she wasn't sure that was their aim. But if Gerald wanted his prisoners back, he probably would take any measure necessary to do so. Sure enough, she spotted 3 figures coming through the trees, followed behind by several soldiers. She spotted P-Dubs easily, giving him a wave. The hermit grinned at her before running toward the wall. Can you give me a hand? My wings are damaged. False offered her hand to pull them up onto the wall. Sam and Julius joined them a moment later, as the soldiers charged toward the group. Get to the base. I'll take care of them, False said matter-of-factly, taking out her sword. We need to put a stop to this cloning problem sooner rather than later, Sam pointed out simply. You're going back in there? False's eyes widened. They think the machine is close, P-Dubs replied with a nod. Whether it's connected through a portal or a cave or something like that, it's better to get rid of it so more people don't get hurt. Are you sure? False asked, turning to the boys. Julius nodded. We're sure. Your mother's okay with this? She doesn't need to know. Julius smirked. Besides, I'm 19. We got this. All right. Careful, False replied, hopping down from the wall, slashing through the pursuers. Get back here as soon as you can. We will, Sam replied, and thanks for stopping by. False smiled. It's what friends do. She turned to Julius. And don't be surprised if there's more of us here. Joe's bringing back up. Good. You guys might need it. She watched the boys hop down and disappear into the trees, a wave of unease crashing over her. It hadn't been the first time she'd seen her protector risk his life to help others. Her first protector gave his life to slow the Eliminator down when he had chased her through the woods. Then David was murdered for trying to stop the men from taking her. Now Sam was recently volunteered to have her back. is going out into the chaos to stop a terrible scheme with his friend's cloning machine. I'm sure they'll be okay, Beat-Up said cheerfully, leaning against the top of the wall, looking down at her. I know they will, Full sighed quietly, pushing away the final motionless body to the damp earth. They both learned from the best. They had to. There wasn't much else they could do, Beat-Up shrugged. Kind of like us. I don't see any more of them heading this way, do you? Falls asked curiously, tightening her grip on her blade. They're not stupid enough to deal with you, Beat-Up's teased with a chuckle. Not when there are other ways. Sean and Kane are watching the walls, the west and south side of the wall. What about the north? Joe. False replied. Now that Scar and Pearl are inside, there's enough people to protect the others if need be. That's not including the Hermit army or collecting, Beat-Up mused. I'm not collecting them. Right, Beat-Up replied, as False flew back up to the top. You're probably going to ask me to go inside, aren't you? You think you're up for a full day of chasing those jerks away? False raised an eyebrow. If I had a horse, I could probably do it. Beat-Up grinned. Good. We may need you to scout around the grounds to make sure they don't try burrowing under the wall. Beat-Up's eyes widened. Would they do that? They have the same tools and means that we do. False replied. Unlike monsters, they have intellectual thoughts. Beat-Up laughed. I'll see if Pearl's up to join me. Unless you want to. Someone needs to guard this wall. False reported simply. I'll be here until the others arrive. You got it, Beat-Up saluted, jumping down onto the ground. I should grab a spear, right? Spear might be good if you want to deal with them quickly. Falls called down. Or just have good aim in general. Okay. I won't let you down, Beat-Up announced, as he ran along the wall toward one of the towers. She'd seen the stables under the tower once or twice, but were the horses ready for battle? Were the hermits? Well, there was one way to find out. False picked up the stack of arrows she'd crafted, making her way to the 20 or so bows that were resting against the wall. The new sunlight poured through the window, illuminating the meeting room. She'd hardly gotten any sleep since Joe had arrived with the other hermits to relieve her of wall duty. There was still so much to do, including crafting armor and weapons for when they would inevitably use them. How long would Conover wait this time? There was nothing stopping him from sending another wave of clones to attack the fortress. That's why everyone was here. Why Sam and Julius had gone off into the night to sniff out where the clone machine was and destroy it for good. That way their enemies couldn't use it to hurt innocent people. False let out a heavy sigh, glancing out the window for a moment, spotting some of her friends outside. They were patrolling the walls and within the perimeter between the house and fortified towers. Not much could get past them. Perhaps they were going a little overboard with the patrols and scouting, but when any moment there might be trouble, there was no time for taking chances. Not to relax or enjoy the moments they had, even as brief as they were. It was time to be ready. She always had to be, especially with the threat that loomed over her and her friends. False shook the uncertain thoughts away. She needed to focus. There was no point in giving up when they were so close to the finish line. Were they? She paused at the thought, watching her friends gallop away on horses past the window or walking on top of the wall. Everyone was in strong armor, diamond or netherite, depending on their preference. Some of the hermits even gave the protectors their spare sets, because they knew they would need it. Has it really come to this? A voice whispered behind her. False jumped, turning her head to see Scar rolling into the room, on his wheelchair, stifling a yawn as he looked out the window. We both know Conover and Gerald aren't done with us. No, I suppose they aren't, Scar said drowsily. Guessing you didn't sleep all that well either? False shook her head, gesturing to the bows, crossbows, and swords. I've been busy. Is it okay if I... Scar hesitated. False smiled. You can help with the fireworks if you want. Scar's face lit up. Really? We're going to need a lot, in case there's trouble. And for when we win? Scar asked hopefully. Falls chuckled. That's it. Scar pushed his wheelchair past her, stopping out the crafting table, picking out the items he would need for the fireworks. Skiz and I were trying to ease Impulse and Green's nightmares in the dream world. Are they bad? False frowned. Horrible. Scar shuddered. They were both on opposite sides of the floating island, and even with the two of us, we barely broke through. Barely? False expressed. Scar nodded, putting together the ingredients on the table. Do you think there could be an easier way to make these? I would guess there would be. False said, taking a few potions from another chest before dumping them into an empty cauldron. Yeah, because those fireworks were horrible last night, Scar replied, rubbing his right arm for a moment before grabbing a stack of rockets. These should cause some serious damage. Good, we're going to need it. You think so? Scar asked, warily. I mean, I know they're not done with us and all, but wouldn't it be just as bad making us paranoid, only to ambush us when we let down our guard? Depends on whether or not Sam and Julius stopped them from making more clones. That's true. Scar frowned, looking out the window. They're not back yet. Yeah, False sighed. It makes sense. Scar replied calmly. It's never easy. They're tough. I know. Scar smirked, whipping up another stack of rockets. Any particular color you would like? I don't care, as long as it does what it needs to do. What about multicolors? Knock 'em out. Scar grinned. I really hope I can get to shoot some of these now. Yeah, False agreed. I need to hop over to the enchantment setup in the kitchen. I'll be good here. Scar waved her off. The bright mischievous light once more in his eye. Mischievousness a light once more in his eyes. Sorry, that sentence was harder than it was supposed to be. Impulse and Green are doing better then, I'm guessing? False asked, scooping up some of the unenchanted items she had left to glow up. Not awake, but the nightmares aren't as intense, Scar replied. No one's waking up screaming, at least. That's good, right? Yes and no, Scar shrugged. The worst ones are the ones when you can't scream. False swallowed. I can't imagine what that must be like. Scar let out another sigh, followed by a smile. I'm here if they need me. I can at least give them that. I'm sure they appreciate it, False replied, disappearing into the hall, slipping into the kitchen. The temporary enchanting setup was tucked back in the corner, with the books in their situated places and all. Yeah. The room was empty and quiet. The only sounds she heard were the faint voices outside and the clomping of hooves. She glanced out the window briefly and felt a smile tug on the corners of her lips. It appeared B-Dubs was hosting a little race with a few of the hermits. It didn't take her too long to enchant the last remaining weapons. She wasn't looking for weapons that were overpowered, just good enough to help against a skirmish. But what more could she expect? The hermits had been dealing with these men for over a year at this point. False was about ready for a change. They all were. She jumped when she heard a knock at the front door. She put away the last of the weapons in a shulker box before heading into the hallway. False heard Scar's voice coming down the hall, sounding even more cheerful and happy, if that were even possible. You got here just in time. We're just about finished getting all the weapons ready to go, Scar said brightly. It's good to see you're prepared. A voice that False hadn't heard in a while spoke. It's a woman. Rose James. Sam and Liam's aunt. Who's she doing here? Can we come inside? Julius, this time, seemingly amused. Of course. All friends are welcome. Scar laughed. Falls peeked around the corner, relieved to see that both boys were there. Sam and Julius had made it back safely. Do you think we should call a meeting? Sam asked, looking over at his aunt. It might be smart. Where's your brother? Rose asked gently. Still resting in the sleepover room. Scar said calmly. One of the clones knocked him around pretty good. He's okay. Relief filled both boy and woman's faces as False joined the group, heading to the meeting room. We meet in an hour, on the hour, with a few of us. False replied, just to touch bases. Communicators still work? Rose asked, curiously taking a seat on an armchair. Yeah, but we only need to use them if we have to. That might be a good time, Rose said softly. Might have an opportunity for you and your friends. Really? What is it? Sky asked eagerly. Rose held up a hand. It's better to share this once. Is that possible for everyone in here? Julius frowned. I can call a few of us over and we can spread the word from there, False replied. Yeah, there's no point waiting when everyone will know by the end of the day, Scar mused. Rose nodded, folding her hands on her lap. How'd the mission go? False asked, breaking the silence. Sam perked up. We found it, in a cave through a portal. I'm not sure if there could be more, but we found the one they were using and took care of it. Stampy will be glad to hear that. Oh, he is, Sam smirked. He's on the hunt to make sure there aren't any more. I don't know if we got all the clones last night, but we sure got a lot of them. We definitely didn't get all of them, Scar shook his head. Or at least 100 of them. 100? You're sure? Rose frowned. Felt like it with how intensely they chased after the rescue party, Scar replied. I can attest to that, False agreed. There were more than a few dozen out there. We can pick up the stragglers if need be, Sam nodded, looking over at his aunt. Are you sure about this plan? It's no longer safe here. I think it's the best we can get them right now, Rose said softly, caressing the boy's golden hair. Sam bit his bottom lip and nodded. We won't be far if they need us, Julius promised, matter-of-factly. That brought a small, hopeful smile on the other boy's face. What are you talking about? False asked slowly, plopping down on an empty seat. It's a big asking. It won't be easy, Rose admitted, but there are an infinite amount of worlds out there, and I found one you guys might like. That's far away from anything the Cause or RJ or Gerald are doing. Think of it like a clean slate. To start over, Sam added. Start over. Scar's mouth fell open, looking between Rose, the boys, and False. Is that possible? I gave Stampy and Squishy the same opportunity, Rose said gently. A safe place. But this isn't going to be a safe house. This will be a new world for you to explore. Scar's eyes widened. That's amazing. A lot of us want something like that, too, False admitted. We're tired of this fighting. We want to be left alone. But we also don't want to leave the other YouTubers to fend for themselves either. Scar lowered his head. It's our job, Rose said calmly, putting a hand on the hermit's arm. Scar looked up at her. You're always welcome to join us if you want to. But our job is to find the best solution for you and your friends. You can start over in a world they won't find for a long time. I won't even have a record of it. It'll all be here. She tapped her temple. What's to stop them from using the admin to torch you to have you? Scar asked anxiously. I can sure, Juliet offered. And we'll always be there if something comes up, or if you need us. What about the interns, our protectors? Scar pressed. There's going to be a lot of discussion before any decision is made. Rose smiled sadly. That's why I wanted everyone here. Let's have a few days to think about it. False replied. I can do that. Rose got to her feet. Now I believe I have a new prisoner? Yep, Theodore Campbell left at our doorstep. Scar shook his head. Rose nodded. How's Franklin? He's doing okay, but he's going to need more time to adjust. Scarcer calmly. That's to be expected from what I've been told. Rose sighed, looking toward her nephew. You two take care of things, all right? Give me a call when the hermit's made a decision. No matter what it is? Julius raised an eyebrow. Rose smiled. Of course. Well, that's going to be the end of the episode. Next week will be the finale, chapter 40. So, yeah. This is going to be it for the episode. Just quiet, chill, relax. Battle is over. Yeah. But, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I will see you next week, or whenever you decide to come along, whatever that might be. Goodbye.